Usually when we talk about a utopia, there's this expectation of just pristine, effortless perfection.
Right, like everything is completely sorted out.
Yeah, exactly. You look at a gleaming city, the streets are clean, the people are thriving, crime is basically non-existent. And you just point and say, well, they figured it out.
It's comforting, right, to think human society can actually be perfected.
It really is. But then you step into the world we are exploring today, and suddenly you realize that this gleaming city is built on top of a giant unseen machine.
Oh, yeah. A very dark machine.
Right, a machine that is literally draining the life force out of the rest of the planet just to keep those streets clean.
It is the absolute definition of a utopian facade hiding a completely dystopian nightmare. And what makes it so compelling is just how methodically that nightmare is constructed.
It's chilling. So welcome, everyone. Today we are taking you into the dense, utterly fascinating universe of the sci-fi and fantasy epic Atinatken.
Which is just a wild ride.
It totally is. Our source material consists of these incredibly intricate narrative excerpts detailing a world where high-concept science fiction just crashes headfirst into ancient metaphysical magic.
It's such a unique blend.
And our mission for this deep dive is to untangle these complex political webs, explain the highly unique magic system, and extract the overarching philosophical themes about power and rebellion.
All without completely overwhelming you with the sheer volume of lore, hopefully.
Exactly. Okay, let's unpack this. We have to start with the absolute foundation of this universe, the magic. Only they call it magic. That's spelled M-E-J-I-C.
Right. And it is definitely not your standard fantasy fare. Nobody is, just waving a wooden wand around and shouting pseudo-Latin phrases.
No, not at all. Magic is the literal manipulation of atomic structures through human consciousness.
Yeah, it's treated as a strict, measurable, hard science.
Yeah.
The Egyptian Empire, which is the dominant superpower we'll be discussing, they don't just treat this as mysticism, they quantify it.
Right, they have an actual metric for it.
Yeah, they do. They use a unit called EPPM, which stands for energetic power per microunit.
Wow.
And this isn't just a gauge of, how big a fireball someone can throw. EPPM monitors how much a user is actually redirecting the atomic function of an atom.
So they are charging the atom with a specific mode of operation through the sheer force of their will.
Exactly.
The closest real-world equivalent we have to this is quantum physics, specifically the observer effect.
Oh yeah, that's a great comparison.
Right. It's the idea that the mere act of a conscious observer looking at a particle can change how that particle behaves, but in this universe, it's that concept taken to its absolute extreme.
Yeah, the observer isn't just passively watching the particle. Their mind is actively rewriting the atom's instructions.
And the Egyptian scientists, specifically this radical faction called the Order of Ajati, they are using this atomic manipulation to try and tear open a dimensional veil.
They are playing with fire. They want to create a nexus portal to a dimension known as the Black Sun.
Which sounds terrifying.
It really does. They're attempting to access a realm of pure, non-physical consciousness. The goal is to harvest its limitless energy to power their civilization basically indefinitely.
But, attempting to rip open the fabric of reality is obviously a volatile endeavor, right? It requires absolute security.
Oh, absolutely. And to protect this massive operation, the Empire relies on its ultimate enforcer, Tenhut, the Lord Commander of the Black Guard.
Oh man, Tenhut, the visual descriptions of him are just staggering.
Yeah, he's intimidating.
Picture a 7-foot-tall cyborg. He wears this titanium black and silver mask shaped like a wolf.
And the eyes, right?
Yes. When the false eyelids of his visor lift, there are no eyes. Just these two bright neon green lights piercing through the dark.
It's such a striking image.
Plus, he breathes through this artificial respiration system that constantly hisses and crackles. And his voice is this distorted electric reverberation.
Your commanders will not evade me for long.
We see him in action at the Battle of Apniad,
Yeah.
and he is just a shark in the water.
Total apex predator.
Yeah, he vaporizes enemy soldiers with a high-tech stave with just terrifying efficiency.
But wait, hold on. This is where I have to push back a little.
Okay, go for it.
If magic is entirely based on spiritual consciousness, human intent, and the soul's connection to the universe, it seems contradictory that a literal machine like Tenhut can wield it so perfectly.
Right, it feels like an oxymoron.
Yeah. A cyborg shouldn't have the spiritual depth to rewrite atomic structures, right?
Well, that paradox is exactly what makes Tenhut so terrifying. He represents the ultimate fusion of technology and spirituality.
How does that even work, though?
See, he isn't a cold, unfeeling machine simply programmed to kill. His cybernetics actually facilitate deep metaphysical visions.
Oh, wow.
He constantly sees a cosmic entity, this many-armed light radiating from the black sun, guiding his every action. He genuinely feels the hand of the divine upon him.
So the machinery doesn't, numb his soul. It somehow isolates and amplifies his connection to the cosmic.
Precisely. The core requirement of magic is absolute, unwavering focus. And human beings are inherently flawed when it comes to focus.
Right, because we get distracted.
We suffer from fatigue, doubt, fear, empathy. Tenhut's cybernetics strip all of that away. By abandoning human emotional limitations, his consciousness becomes a flawless laser beam.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
His intent is never clouded by hesitation, which makes his ability to alter reality overwhelmingly potent. He is the chilling embodiment of the idea that true, unstoppable power requires the surrender of your humanity.
Which is a deeply unsettling thought. I mean, if a machine can out-meditate a monk, so to speak, you are dealing with an entirely new tier of threat.
Absolutely. And that fusion of ruthless efficiency and spiritual elevation isn't just limited to their super soldiers. It forms the very philosophy of the empire itself.
Which leads us directly to the architect of it all, Atinatken, the Golden King.
He is the pharaoh of Egyptia, and he is a walking, breathing paradox.
The source material explains that decades ago, he liberated Egyptia from a corrupt, drug-addled tyrant named Enoch. And by all outward metrics, Atinatken created a utopia.
Yes, society is genuinely safe, it's prosperous, the architecture is breathtaking.
Families are restored, and the citizenry is actively encouraged to pursue higher understanding. But the horrific secret underpinning all of this is that he is the parasite king.
Which is such a great title. He is physically acting as a conduit, literally siphoning the entire planet's magic into himself.
Just drinking it up.
Exactly. He's drawing the world's ambient life force into his own consciousness to fuel his empire and his grand dimensional designs.
So everything beautiful in Egyptia is paid for by draining the vitality of the world around it.
Yep. And you can see his obsession with manipulating consciousness physically built into his throne room.
Oh, the Windwhir machine.
Yes. He had the Black Guard construct this massive machine called the Windwhir. It's an intricate system of mirrors, lenses, and pulleys situated high above the throne.
And as it turns, it manipulates the incoming light and shadow across the room to create the perfect illusion of being under a giant, swaying forest canopy.
But it's not just for interior design, right?
No, not at all. The Windwhir is a psychological tool.
Right. By creating that rhythmic, hypnotic dappling of light and shadow, the machine directly alters the brainwaves of anyone in the room.
It's wild. It induces a theta state, which is a higher tier of sensory awareness and suggestibility.
He is using optical engineering to forcefully elevate the consciousness of himself and his subjects, preparing their minds to channel denser forms of magic.
It's incredibly manipulative. He's essentially hacking the human nervous system to make his people better batteries.
That's a great way to put it.
And his ambition doesn't stop at Egyptia's borders either. He wants to conquer a region called Senhel, the Darklands.
Yeah, which is an area completely enshrouded in impenetrable darkness, holding the highest concentration of raw magic on the planet.
And he needs that incredibly dense, volatile power to finally force open his multi-dimensional portal to the Black Sun.
Which brings up the profound moral dilemma at the center of his character. Atinatken operates on a scale of morality that regular humans simply cannot comprehend.
He really does. He genuinely believes he is forcing human evolution.
To him, atrocities are just variables in a complex equation.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Think about a brilliant tech CEO who builds a flawless, walled garden campus for their employees.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
Like free gourmet lunches, perfect healthcare, state-of-the-art facilities. But the dark secret is they are powering this beautiful campus by covertly draining the local town's water supply until the rest of the world turns into a barren desert.
Right.
The citizens inside the walls are genuinely living better, more fulfilling lives. So does it actually matter to them that their leader is a cosmic parasite?
Yeah. For Atinatken, the ends absolutely justify the means. Take the destruction of Katasia, for example.
The city of the Sphinx.
Yes, the Sphinx, or a race of rat men. He orders the entire metropolis burned to the ground.
So we're wiped out.
But he doesn't do it out of malice or racial hatred. He does it to send a calculated political message to the rest of the world.
He views the standard human experience as a trap of limited awareness.
Exactly. By his logic, if he possesses the vision to elevate reality itself and unlock the Black Sun, the localized suffering of innocent ratmen is completely irrelevant.
He just crosses out an entire civilization like a rounding error on a chalkboard.
It's brutal.
But, when a leader starts playing God on a global scale and physically draining the world's energy to do it, people are going to notice. Rebellion becomes inevitable.
And this is where we see the rise of AeroShield, a clandestine resistance group operating right under Atinatken's nose.
And what's fascinating is that this isn't a ragtag group of street urchins.
Not at all. These are highly educated, deeply entrenched insiders who can physically feel the world's magic fading.
They know Atinatken is consuming it, and they realize they are literally running out of time.
You have people like Admiral Grax, an esteemed naval officer. There's Inhosa, the pharaoh's own grand architect, who actually helped build the empire.
Then there's a tremendously powerful seer named Gulu, a historian named Makif, and a fierce warrior, Tret.
They pool their resources and launch this desperate assassination attempt at the Battle of Apniad.
They think they've brilliantly ambushed Atinatken's carriage.
But they are walking right into a trap. Atinatken isn't in the carriage. Tenhut steps out.
Oh, man.
And we see the brutal disparity in power immediately. Tenhut effortlessly vaporizes their field commander, Captain Mummius, with just 3 strikes of his staff.
Just erased. The psychological toll of that defeat completely shatters the resistance.
And this is where the story brilliantly subverts the typical narrative trope.
Yeah, because usually the scrappy underdog rebellion takes a hit, regroups in a basement somewhere, finds a secret loophole, and ultimately topples the evil empire.
Right, but AeroShield just slowly, agonizingly collapses under the weight of their enemy's superiority.
So, what does this all mean for our heroes? Did they ever really have a chance, or were they playing checkers while Atinatken was playing 4D chess?
They failed because they fundamentally misunderstood the nature of the war they were fighting. They tried to combat a metaphysical, highly evolved cosmic threat using conventional military tactics and hiding in damp cellars.
That makes sense. The physics of magic dictate that reality is shaped by conscious intent.
Yes. Atinatken's reality is shaped by his absolute sociopathic certainty. Admiral Grax, on the other hand, descends into deep paranoia.
Right. He tries to hide the true numbers of the naval fleet, keeping them 70% below official records, terrified of being discovered.
And that fear and doubt literally weaken their side's ability to manipulate reality.
Tenhut ultimately discovers Grax's deception, leading to his arrest, and the climax of their arc is just gut-wrenching.
It really is. The remaining leaders are hiding in the historian Makif's home, frantically trying to brainstorm a new plan.
But there is no clever escape. Tenhut and the Black Guard simply kick the door in.
It's a systemic, calculated dismantling. The guards instantly vaporize one of the rebel witches, Gyra, turning her into a blackened skeleton before she can even react.
And then we see how they deal with Gulu, the powerful seer.
She tries to fight back, manifesting her pink and purple magic. But Tenhut doesn't even draw a weapon.
He just walks up to her.
He simply places his hand over her head and projects a field of yellow, star-like lights directly onto her skull.
The source material describes that yellow light as a high-density, energy-draining magic field. It acts like a metaphysical anchor.
Because magic requires the mind to freely instruct atomic structures.
Right. So this heavy, suppressive field forcefully grounds her consciousness. It completely shuts down her brain's ability to broadcast instructions to the universe.
Knocking her unconscious and neutralizing her power instantly.
It perfectly illustrates the futility of their rebellion. With AeroShield dismantled, there is no one left inside Ahipsha to stop Atinatken from marching on the Darklands of Senhal.
To claim that ultimate power.
But what exactly created this Darkland in the first place? If it holds so much dense power, why is it a void filled with literal monsters?
To understand that, the narrative shifts perspective to a mercenary named Tosh, known as the Hunter.
Right, the Pharaoh employs Tosh to track down a lost ancient wizard named Juba.
Tosh follows the leads to a tavern in a town called Trepidstad, where he violently interrogates a group of Sphene refugees.
He finally extracts the truth from an old Sphene named Azigent, and the Sphene drops a massive piece of historical lore.
A huge lore drop.
He reveals Jube is hiding in the Tower of Jaffa, but more importantly, Azigent reveals the true origin of the Darklands.
The global propaganda always claimed that Jube was this evil, power-hungry demon who tried to conquer the world and destroyed a continent in the process.
But the reality is far more tragic. Jube wasn't a demon-seeking world domination. He was an immortal being who was driven completely mad by centuries of isolation.
He was trapped in eternal existence. He couldn't get sick, he couldn't age, and he couldn't be killed.
And the human mind, or any mind for that matter, is just not designed to process infinity.
Exactly. So, out of pure, exhausting desperation, Jiba attempted a highly complex Mijic ritual.
He didn't want to conquer anything. He simply wanted to disassemble his own atoms. He just wanted to stop existing.
But here is the critical mechanism of the magic system coming back into play. Mijic responds directly to your emotional state.
And because Jube was filled with intense fear, panic, and centuries of inner turmoil, his chaotic emotional state corrupted the atomic instructions he was broadcasting.
His mind couldn't maintain the clean, focused theta state required for such a delicate operation.
Right.
His fear literally ripped reality apart, creating an era known as the Dark Age. The region of Senhel was turned into a void, and his profound psychological terrors physically manifested as the literal monsters that now roam that land.
It's like, think of a deeply depressed software engineer trying to just quietly delete their own user account on a massive server.
Well, that's a good analogy.
Right. But their hands are shaking, their mind is racing, they input the wrong string of code, and they accidentally deploy a catastrophic bug that crashes the entire global internet.
It's a perfect analogy. The Darklands are the physical scar of a broken mind trying to erase itself.
But wait, let me ask you this. If Senhel is full of monsters and darkness that constantly threaten the surrounding nations, isn't Atinatken actually doing the world a huge favor by trying to cleanse it?
It looks that way on paper, but you have to look at the intent behind the action.
Okay, go on.
Jeeves' mistake was born of fear, and it created chaos. Atinatken isn't marching into Senhel to heal the land or protect his neighbors.
He's doing it for the power.
He is marching in to consume that incredibly dense, volatile energy to ascend to godhood. He is applying cold, calculating sociopathic ambition to raw, unfiltered cosmic power.
Wow.
It raises a terrifying question. If a frightened immortal making a mistake broke reality, what will reality look like when it is intentionally shaped by a sociopathic visionary executing a flawless plan?
A perfectly ordered dystopia. A universe where every atom is subjugated to one man's will.
Exactly.
And as a Hipsha prepares to claim this ultimate power, the rest of the world can no longer just sit back and watch from behind their borders. The global chessboard is suddenly in frantic motion.
We see the immediate geopolitical fallout. Atinatken deploys his champion, Scarge, to march southeast to the city of Rivenel.
Right. Scarge's mission is to court the enigmatic, cat-like Riven Queen, Syria.
He brings lavish gifts and promises of a grand alliance. The pharaoh is basically securing his flanks, ensuring the Rivenel either assists them or remains strictly neutral before the march on Senhel begins.
Meanwhile, over in the nation of Agria, the political situation is an absolute disaster.
It's a total mess.
The head of their holy college, Archmage Salantai, realizes the magnitude of what Atinatken is about to do. But instead of rallying the nation to defend the world, Salantai plots outright treason against his own emperor.
He wants to intercept the Egyptian forces and steal the power of Senhel for the college's own prophetic figure, the third Messiah.
And to make matters worse, the Agrian emperor, Jule, is secretly fully aware of this treason.
Yeah, his spy network, spearheaded by a moon elf named Isokot Uelis, reports the Archmage's exact plans.
But Emperor Jule chooses to do absolutely nothing to stop it.
He deliberately decides to let the college launch their unauthorized, doomed attack against Ahipsha.
Why?
Because he knows they will fail, and their failure will significantly weaken the Holy College, allowing Jule to consolidate his own domestic political power.
It is utter madness. It's like a chaotic Mexican standoff in a burning building.
Yeah.
Everyone is fighting each other while completely ignoring the guy outside with a wrecking ball. Why are these ancient, powerful nations so blind to the bigger picture?
Because the overarching theme of this universe is division versus unity. The outside world is crippled by old grudges, infighting, and petty political squabbles.
Everyone is acting out of narrow self-interest and paranoia.
Exactly. Atinatken's terrifying advantage isn't just his advanced technology, his cyborg enforcers, or his mastery of atomic midget.
What is it then?
His true, unbeatable advantage is that his empire moves with a single, absolute, unified purpose. There is no infighting in the Blackguard,
They are an unyielding spear aimed directly at the future.
while the rest of the world is busy fighting over the past.
That is so profound. And that brings us to what this all means for you, the listener.
Yes, let's bring it back home.
We've journeyed through a world of atomic magic, cybernetic horrors, crushed rebellions, and petty global politics manipulated by a parasite king. But let's ground this epic scale into something incredibly relevant to our daily lives.
In the world of Atinatken, intent and consciousness literally shape physical reality.
If you are fractured and afraid, monsters appear. If you are ruthlessly focused, empires rise.
The underlying psychological truth holds immense weight.
Our internal focus, our emotional intent, and our unity of purpose drastically alter the environments, the workplaces, and the communities around us.
A fragmented, paranoid mind like Admiral Grax or the Agrian Emperor creates a fragmented, vulnerable, and ultimately doomed reality.
What you project inward, you inevitably manifest outward. If you approach a challenge expecting defeat, your actions will subconsciously align to ensure that defeat happens.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
We've taken a breathtaking journey today into a universe where the lines between magic, science, and philosophy are completely erased. But as we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought to ponder.
Something to mull over.
If a society is peaceful, prosperous, and culturally thriving, but its foundation is built on absolute control and the literal draining of the world's life force.
Is it a utopia or the ultimate dystopia?
Exactly. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the sources. We love unpacking these incredible universes with you. Until next time, protect your focus, guard your intent, and keep asking the big questions.